Happy New Year, friend.
What is up, my friend? Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, dude.
Merry
Merry what?
Christmas.
Merry New Year.
We call it the Merry COVID Christmas, is what we call it in this household.
Yeah, you guys got blessed with COVID for Christmas, huh?
We did.
Man, that's a mighty gift.
Yeah, I'm gonna be muting myself before we start this podcast. I want to apologize to all our listeners and to you, Stuart. I've been coughing quite a bit lately.
Yeah.
And so I'll be putting myself on mute quite a bit. So there may be some small pauses between things, but yeah, so man, it's COVID. This COVID's no joke.
Instead of Santa bringing coal in your stocking, he just brought you COVID instead.
Yeah, Santa actually came down the chimney. We have cameras, so I saw it. Came down the chimney and like basically came and sneezed on my pillow.
Just sprinkled COVID dust all over your pillow.
Sneezed on my pillow. Put the COVID particles in the air. I breathed them in.
Nice.
And that's all she wrote.
Nice, man.
That's all she wrote, man. COVID is no fun, dude. It's not very fun.
Doesn't sound fun. You know, it is fun. I just before this podcast, I was finishing up snow blowing. I got the snow blower out for the first time, first snow of the season. Snow blowed my driveway. Dude, there's something like really satisfying about
you snow blowed it.
I snow blowed it. Yeah. How do you? Yeah. I'm gonna try to just make you laugh a whole ton today, so you can just like cough the whole time and mute yourself.
You're so dumb. You snow blowed it.
I snow blowed it. But seriously, like nice like lines up and down like your driveway, snow blowing it, just like throwing snow everywhere. You got like snow dust coming in your face. It's just feels like awesome. It's like really manly, you know.
Why don't you just it's more manly, I think. What we did today is we shoveled it. We shoveled the snow. We shoveled it. My boys actually, so I didn't know this, but Jake met up with the neighbor boy, went up and they're going around the neighborhood houses. Our neighbors are paying them like $20 to shovel their, and I'm like, no, dude, nice. You guys, I mean, it's nice, but I'm also like, come on, boys, you better be doing a freaking spick and span job. Like that driveway better be. And to be fair, that last night Jake went and said, hey, I'd like to shovel some neighbors' yards just to be nice. He asked if he could do it to be nice. I'm like, yeah, heck yeah. But this morning the money started coming out.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to do some life lessons with earning your keep and
I love it, man. Little entrepreneurs, dude.
Yeah, dude. The neighbors paid him like $100, man, by the time they were done. Him and his little buddy.
That's great.
I don't know, it was $120. He made $60 today.
Nice.
And as a dad tax, I taxed half of it because that's what we do. Because this is America, and nothing's free. We pay Uncle Sam or Daddy David.
Nice.
Yeah, man. And then I got this going on. This for you, Stu. This is my new look. I think I'm gonna do this. This is it doesn't come in thick, but I don't think it has to. I think it's a little bit dignified.
I don't know, man. So everyone's just listening to the podcast. David's trying to grow some type of mustache, goatee thing. It's like very spotty and like it's not good, man.
It's your opinion. That's like your opinion, man. Like nobody. It doesn't matter if you hate it. It doesn't matter if my wife, my mom, my dad.
Yeah, I know your wife hates it, doesn't she?
Oh, dude, all these people I'm mentioning. It doesn't matter that my brother and his wife hate it. I don't give a rip what they think, and I don't care if you hate it. I love it.
Good. I'm glad. What are we talking about today? It's first podcast of 2022, dude. Dude, we're almost at 100. I think this is
it's crazy.
I think this is 99.
This is 99. Yeah,
what are we talking about?
It's that time of year that people talk about resolutions and they talk about setting goals and all these good things. So we thought we'd talk about that a little bit, but a little twist to it. Because one of my resolutions this year is to make my continuously have resolutions and make resolutions to get better throughout the year, you know, and I know it sounds, you know, kind of, I mean, it sounds like, you know, very utopic, but in all reality, man, to keep continuously refocusing. And I think some of the things we're going to talk about today, there's an element of that to it as well, but you can continuously choose to do this. And that's one of my goals this year, is to not, I tend to, if I'm not hitting a goal or if I'm faltering on something that's important, whether it's working out, you know, financial goal, business goal, whatever, I'll tend to, I'm kind of I think I probably have an addictive personality. You know, I think I go extremes, right? And so if I'm not hitting, you know, say I'm not hitting my diet goals, and I'm like, oh, I didn't do that, so I'm just gonna like eat this tray of brownies and you know, an entire plate of, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think I want to try this year to get really good at refocusing and to continuously push towards those goals. And I think it's really important for us, you know, in our business, what we're talking about is refining our goals, setting really strong goals that we're constantly, it's the guiding light, right?
Yeah.
It's where we continue to recalibrate and you know, hold each other accountable to these things and continue driving forward and being better every single day. And I think that's a really good thing. But these 4 resolutions that we're talking about today, I think are also lend themselves to continuously going back to and helping us to be better, you know, better human beings, better men throughout the year.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, so we're going to hit on these, and these come from one of our favorite pastors, Rick Warren, at the Saddleback Church. He did a sermon on it, and we took a lot of these notes and kind of tweaked them. But you know, it's interesting because a lot of people, you know, at first of the year, everyone sets goals, everyone you know, writes down stuff that they want to accomplish, but a lot of it is just trivial, you know, and a lot of it, people end up failing on these goals by like February, end of February, March, because they're trying to accomplish these goals just through willpower, and it doesn't work. It really just doesn't work. And I would say that the stuff that we're going to talk about today, I would say more like their life values, you know, or just a mindset that you like have to shift to, and just continuously, just like you're talking about, continuously thinking about it, and then reflecting on if you're you know, performing these values on a regular basis. You all right? You gonna make it? You gonna die?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Don't die on me. Don't go die on me.
I mean, eventually, yes, we all,
Oh.
that's going to happen. But hopefully before that, we can really set some goals, you know, and we talk about these goals too. You know, I think a lot of folks also have a hard time with their goals because it's like, hey, man, I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, well, that's great. You know, that's awesome. No issues there. I mean, I have a goal. I have a weight loss goal this year too, but I started changing the way I look at that as, you know, it's not about the weight. I want to be a healthier person.
Yeah.
And what's the why behind that? You know, one of our good friends, Polish Peter, he said it didn't really stick with him until his coach, who's another good friend of ours, had basically said, hey, who's going to walk your daughter down the aisle? And he said, it took all these years, but it took someone to say that to him to really get his goals and his focus on health really refined him to mean something important, because it finally meant something to him, right?
Yeah.
He's like, if I keep going down this unhealthy road, then I'm not going to be able to walk my daughter down the aisle. Like for him, that was the thing. That was what made it, like, changed everything for him. And I think having a strong why to these goals is also important. Like just to lose weight, it's dude, that's you know, how many people in this country are now? 300 million people. You know, 300 plus million people want to lose weight. Like it's not a unique goal. It's not special.
Yeah.
But I think the reasons that we pursue it, I think that's really where you can start digging in and to have a deeper reason why you want to achieve some of the things you want to achieve. And I think that kind of alleviates some of the stuff that you were just talking about, that you know, you sheer willpower and also these goals that just are not, they're not top shelf goals. I mean, I hate to say it, but they're just not top shelf goals.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Rick Warren says that, we all have to make choices, and really these choices end up making us. And he talks about, what a resolution really is. And it's a firm determination to do something. And this first one that we're going to hit on is something that I think we really need to like dive into, because I think we're currently living in this world where it's very materialistic. We're trying to live up to someone else's standards, someone else's expectations. We're trying to keep up with the Joneses, impress people. We're posting all of our like awesome things we're doing on social media. We're trying to get all those likes and those hearts and those claps and fist bumps. But if you really think about who you are and who God made you to be, we need to set this goal, this resolution to refuse to be defined by others, and understand and know that God made us to be a certain person, and we just need to live up to what God meant us to be, not try to live up to somebody else's standards.
Yeah, and you know what's I think we all do this. I think we do it to an extreme level. We either we're comparing ourselves to others, based on whether it's these social media posts and living the Insta life and all that kind of stuff. Oh, by the way, who's the Joneses?
The Joneses.
Oh, the Joneses. Got it. I heard you say the Joneses. I don't know who the Joneses were. But I think that, and even if you're not a person of faith, and you don't believe in the whole who God created you to be, I think you can still relate with the fact that we have a problem with comparing ourselves to others. And it is it's something that we all do. And it really depends on if you do it or don't, and if you're intentional about addressing it. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where anybody else is. It really doesn't. With us, we like to do real estate. We like to be entrepreneurs. Dude, entrepreneurs are infamous for this, right? Well, how many deals are you doing? Or how many doors do you have? What's your blah 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 blah? Like, who cares?
Right.
Like, if I'm looking at you, Stu, and you have 35 doors and I have one, who cares? Like, I'm not gonna by wanting to be in your shoes, and by wanting to be like somehow have this idea in my head to be who you are, I'm losing the whole focus and point of making myself better and getting to 2 doors or 3 doors or whatever my goal is. What is my goal? Is my goal even doors? Most people don't even give a rip about doors. Like, they don't care about doors. But when they start to dig into it, you're like, man, I just want cash flow. Okay, well, how much cash flow? I want this much money. Like, it's interesting that you start digging into these things, because at the end of the day, it does absolutely zero to compare yourself to somebody else. It is such a counterproductive. It's like, I think there's a few things that are very counterproductive. Worry is very counterproductive because it gets nothing. Regret, very counterproductive. Regret never. What does regret get you? Bitterness, extremely counterproductive, because you may be bitter about something that the person you're bitter towards doesn't even think about you. Think about that.
Yeah.
You're wasting all this emotion and thought on somebody who doesn't even care about you. And then comparing, I think, is such a wasted emotion. It's such a wasted activity because it does nothing for you. It literally gets you nothing. And you have no idea, dude. Like, half the people you look at that you're comparing, you're looking at something that you see on the outside.
Right.
You're driving in a nice car. Well, you're driving a nice car. Maybe you're up to your freaking gills in debt. And I just don't know that. Maybe your marriage life, because you're in all this debt and you have to work, 80-hour weeks, your marriage life, your family life sucks. I don't know that.
Right.
But that's just as likely as not, right? So this comparison thing, you be careful what you wish for, because you could get something you don't want.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like, I think it'd be a good exercise to really like deep down think about who you are allowing yourself to determine who you should be. And that could be, it could be your parents, that could be your friends, that could be your spouse, that could be colleagues, that could be your friends, coworkers, like people, just like you're talking about, comparing yourself number of doors and stuff like that. Like, if you're in a mastermind group and you're in talking to buddies that are in your mastermind group and they're talking about how many doors and you're comparing yourself to that person, just think about that. Like, does it really matter? And are you allowing those people in your life to define who you should be? It's an interesting exercise.
Well, and I think it's also important. Are you making decisions based on that stuff too?
Yeah.
And really, if you are, you're making decisions in ignorance. And I think it's important, if you really want to be like somebody, then you pull them aside and hey, maybe set up a call and ask them the important questions, the things that are important to you. If family's important, you ask them that stuff. If they're willing to have a conversation about family life and their goals for their family and what they think is important and why they're doing the things they're doing, it could be a very interesting exercise, and you could find out that someone may not have thought through it. Hey, why do you want 550,000 doors or whatever? Well, I don't know. I just want more. Is that what you want to emulate? Just someone who wants more? Like, I don't. And it's just a useless exercise. And I think refusing to be defined by others is important, but it's also super powerful to when you finally get comfortable in your own skin, you realize you take ownership and you say, you know what, God or whatever it is, however you feel. But for me, God created me to be this person. Dude, I'll tell you what, for me, this last 6 months, the things that you and I have been talking about, some of the things we've been doing have really grown me and caused me to mature, and change the way I think about myself a lot, because I'm like, man, it's interesting what I don't want to be and what I do want to be. And it's been very empowering, dude. And people some of the conversations you and I have been having with other people, they immediately note. They're like, oh man, you're fired up about this, aren't you? Like, yes. They're like, man, I can see the passion. I can see the passion. It's freed me to be the person that I want to be.
Well, and it once you kind of know that, it relieves you of the fear of disapproval. Like, you no longer you no longer care about what other people think about you. You're no longer scared of rejection or disapproval or even failure in general. Like, you're not scared of it anymore.
No,
which is an awesome place to be.
It's a great place to be, dude. And I'll tell you something, man. If you are comparing yourself to others, or you're concerned about what others think about you, let me just give you a little bit of insight. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And I'll tell you, man, it's amazing how little other people care about you and your life. And like, all the time we take to, like, and that's part of this whole facial hair thing. Like, I know it looks like garbage, dude. And it's more of like, I don't care. I just don't care. Right. And what's funny is we do all those things to make ourselves look good and be prim and pretty, and try to, before, say, you go to a party, right? Well, here's the thing. Everybody's doing it because you know who they care about, who looks good? Themselves, dude.
Yeah.
They don't care what you look like. They're not going to remember what you look like. They're not, unless you're an absolute fool or you have something like this on your face, and they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, that thing was disgusting. But excuse me. Or you're coughing all over somebody, and then they're gonna be like, oh man, I remember that guy. He was coughing everywhere.
Yeah, I remember that for sure. Guy with the stupid looking mustache.
Well, that's why you're so memorable, dude, because you're so ugly. Yeah. But I think it's important for us to realize that. I mean, it's not cynical. It's not cynical at all. It's completely liberating to know that, and even when you're talking about losing weight, a lot of us, when it's the image we're trying to push out to other people. But if you think about it, man, like, people just don't care, man. They care about what they look like and their weight. So why don't you make those goals for yourself? Not being defined by others, not what you think others want, but what do you want for yourself?
Yeah.
Do you want to be healthy because you want to feel good and you do want to look good and whatever for yourself? Then that should absolutely be a focus, because other people just don't care, man. They just don't.
Yeah, man. All right. Number two resolution. Choose to endure short-term pain for long-term gain. No pain, no gain. And I think this is a huge challenge in our society right now. for pretty much everyone, especially my kids.
Yeah, especially your kids. But is it their fault, or is it because they see us? I don't know. That's an interesting question too.
It is an interesting question.
Yeah, and I think another way to put this is, yep, no pain, no gain, I think is good. But I think the other side of it is delayed gratification.
Yeah.
I think that's a big struggle, right? So, and some people see the delayed gratification is the pain. But man, if you put good aside to wait for great, man, that you can, if you're just patient and you listen and you seek counsel and you do these things that will really, you choose to not just, swipe the credit card or whatever it may be. Like, there's a lesson in failure. There's a lesson in saving. There's a lesson in budgeting. There's a lesson in these things that can really help us to get to the point where we're achieving our highest and best. One of the things that I love, Rick Warren says, he says that he spent years and years and years tithing, right? And he tithed more, like whatever percent more every year.
Yeah.
And he said that, powerful people like I think a senator came up and said, why you? Like, why would God choose you to write this ridiculous book, Purpose Driven Life, that sold millions of copies, made tens of millions of dollars? Why you? And he goes, I know exactly why me, because God knew what I would do with the money.
Yeah.
And where that relates to me is that the lifestyle of delayed gratification, waiting for something better, has a lot of blessing in it. And it enables us it frees us from potentially debt or these other things that pull us back to something better.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this isn't everything, man. Like, today's society teaches us, like, we want things now, we want things free, we want things easy, like the fastest way to get to something, the get rich quick schemes, the fast diets that's going to get your 6-pack abs, like all this stuff that is pushing these days is get stuff fast, right? But if you think about it, like, if you wait and you delay gratification, like this is in everything that you want to accomplish in life, to be great. What's like, I think it's Malcolm Gladwell. He says to be like, to master something, it takes like 10,000 hours or something like that. I mean, think of like fitness, right? Health, marriage, relationships, finances, education, career, professional development, like everything. If you have this mindset and keep this resolution to endure short-term pain for long-term gain, like, you're going to win.
Yeah, man. And I think that, I think we know this. We just want it.
Yeah.
Right. But I also think when you do it, sometimes you don't realize the things that you want, or sometimes you don't realize the things that you need, or the things that will make you happy or bring you joy. And I think, like, even when we all know to lose weight, you have to burn more calories than you consume. Okay. Well, how do you do that? Well, however you do that, right? But that's like not, earth-shattering science. It's not like a new thing. Like, we know this to be true. And I look at we look at these big icons like The Rock, right? And so when I look at someone like The Rock, I don't look at The Rock and see who he is and be like, I want to be like that, or that's the ideal. Oftentimes I'll look at, okay, what's The Rock's diet? What's his workout regimen? Dude, look that up.
Yeah.
Look that up and see what people like The Rock or like Rick Warren or any of these people. But look at the routines that make these people who they are and what they are. I think that is the true gift. That is very eye-opening to me. I looked at the other day, I was just curious at, kind of a workout routine that someone like him does. Dude, it's freaking bonkers, man. It's crazy. It's hours and hours a day. And now he can do that. I mean, that makes him his money, right? So he can do that. But you don't have to be like The Rock. Like, if you're half of what The Rock is, from a fitness perspective, that's pretty darn good. But you look at that and you're like, dude, that is a lot of work. There's a lot of delayed gratification. There's a lot of no eating pizza and ice cream. There's a lot of waking up early and getting in the gym. There's a lot of these things that we don't want to look at, to see, to do, but that's what it takes. And I think is when you realize that, when you embrace it, when you embrace that suck, it can change your character too. And it can actually, it becomes who you are, and it can help you to build into somebody that you really want to be. But that journey is the key. If everybody could, turn into the Rock in 5 seconds, would it be special? Would that accomplishment even mean anything?
Nope.
Like it can't. Like the people who take steroids, do they feel good about that accomplishment? I don't know.
Yeah. One thing that kind of really got me excited about, this one was, I want to teach my kids, these resolutions, right? And the best way to teach my kids that is for them to see me doing it. And if they see me doing it every day regularly, if they see me getting up and PTing, going and working out at 6 a.m. every single morning, like that's gonna like filter down to them, when they get to the age when they're gonna, in high school and stuff like that, like they're gonna probably, I hope, that they're gonna want to be healthy and eat well, if they see me eating salads instead of, McDonald's all the time, like that stuff's gonna like follow them and teach them to be have that same mindset. So that's huge for me. I mean, if you teach your kids at a young age to have this discipline, how much better will they be in life? I mean, again, same thing, like in school, when they become young adults and they have to deal with their own finances, in sports, sex, drugs, alcohol, like all this stuff. If you teach them this one resolution, like it could be super powerful for your kids.
Yeah, huge. And I think there's a couple of lines that really stuck out with me. And I think they're important truths, but they're very my wife is so amazing. She brought a hot drink, a hot toddy to hopefully save our audience's ears a little bit. Thank you. But there's a couple lines. One, it's more often than not, the right thing to do is not the easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Like I love that, because there's a lot of times we're looking for easy, and even like when we're looking at life, right? Where I just want I want to make all this money so that whatever, so things are easier or comfortable or whatever. And a lot of times that's not really what that's not going to be what's the highest and best, right? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with money, and you shouldn't seek to be in poverty to build your character, but there are some lessons in that, and there are some things that to take away, that it's not always, usually the right thing is not the easy thing. Just acknowledge now that you're gonna have challenges and pain in life. Like life was never intended to be easy. It wasn't promised to be easy. I don't care about your faith background. As Christians, Jesus never said that follow me and I'm going to give you an easy life.
Yeah.
That was not, you look at his inner circle, that was not an easy life. And usually their life ended very, very dramatically and very, in difficulty. So, the challenges, you're going to have challenges, you're going to have pain. And it just, when you're going to choose it, you can choose it now or later. So if you do easy now, I promise you life is going to be real hard later. And I think that's just a very important, something that resonates with me, and I roll through my head quite a bit.
Yeah, man. What's he say? Character over comfort. I love that. I love that little tagline, character over comfort. Well, so number 3 on our list here is choose God's values over world's values. And we talk about our why a lot, and we talk about our values a lot. We've posted our values on our website, and but do you really act to those values? And have you really thought about what your core values are? If someone like came up to you and asked you like, hey, what are your core values? Could you tell them? I bet you there's a lot of people that can't.
So it was interesting. I was doing a command board recently. I think I mentioned this, but that's the question that I asked the guy. And it was, during the command boards, it's not necessarily a normal question. A lot of the questions are more towards, okay, a chief goes out and hits on a first class, or, an officer's having sex with a blah, 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 what do you do? And this question just kind of popped in my head. And I'm like, hey man, what are your core values? What are the things that you would say are most important to you? And no clue. And I'm not faulting the guy at all.
Yeah.
But it really was I think an important question, because because it's also, it can be your guiding light and your guiding principles, right? When something hard comes your way, if you have already meditated on the things that are most important to you, if some money issue comes up between you and I, and I've already determined in my mind that my integrity and our friendship cannot be challenged, then it's easy, dude. Then okay, it's money. Like, okay, what do we do? Like, how do we deal with this issue? But a lot of times, something as powerful as money comes up between partners, dude. I saw it today with these boys that I was telling you about, when they partnered up to scrape snow.
Yeah.
I saw it. There was a challenge, and I won't kind of divulge how that worked out, but I will tell you, I was shocked. At 8-year-old boy's age, there was money came into the picture, and it caused what I perceived to be a character issue with these two boys at 8 years old to creep up like that, dude. And I was just like, ooh, that's powerful.
Yeah.
And then I sat them both down and said, what are your freaking core values, boys? No, I'm just kidding. We didn't do that. But man, it is, I don't know, what is a core value? Which also goes to the point, you should do this in your family. My family should know what our family core values are. And that's something that I'm going to do this year. Yeah. We're going to sit down and we're going to highlight what our family core values are, because my kids should know what the Gutierrez family stands for. And I want them to know, without thinking about it, this family stands for kindness, and this family stands for integrity, and this family stands for generosity. Like I need them to know that. And so you have to talk about it early, because 8-year-old boys, man, it already, there was a character challenge in something as innocent as them shoveling snow.
Yeah. And if you don't decide what's important in your life, then other people are going to do it for you, right? You're gonna fall into the trap of the world's values. And what are the world's values right now? It's popularity, it's pleasure, it's possessions, it's status, right? It's how much money you make, glamour, sex, right? Like the way you look. This American dream. It's all over social media. It's all over the TV, internet, billboards. It's everywhere. And us as parents have to be like super intentional too, to teach our kids like what's important in our lives. It's our values, our family values. I love it, man.
Yeah, it was interesting, because I'm gonna have to have this talk with my kids too. But as everybody kind of went inside, and I was finishing up shoveling our driveway, which was ironically, the boys completely left full of snow, but that's fine. There was no money in it.
Yeah, right.
But I was I just kept thinking on the same thing. And there's this conversation I have with them, that if your life is centered around, focused on, and built on money, then it is a wasted life, and it's a sad life. It's a myopic life, right? I feel sorry for the people that pursue, and I was just talking to a really good friend of ours recently, and his wife was there, and they were talking about his father-in-law, his wife's dad. very wealthy individual in Southern California, and you could hear it. It was very sad to me because, and the kids were at the table too, and they were all acknowledged that that grandpa had no part in their lives, because, and they said it. I didn't say it. I don't know grandpa. I've never met this guy.
Yeah.
But they said grandpa has no part in the kids' lives because all he cares about is money. And I was just like, oh, like it broke my heart for those kids. And it broke my heart for that grandpa, dude, and all the stuff he's missing out on because he's living that amazing, quote unquote, amazing Southern California life. And his own grandkids are telling me, who at the time I'm a stranger to the kids.
Yeah.
And they're telling me this about grandpa. Yeah, grandpa's not part of our lives. Young kids, grandpa's not part of our lives because what he cares about is money. I was like, golly, that's deep.
Yeah, that's no bueno, man. And so what are, what are God's values? So, I would say purpose is one of God's values. I would say people and relationships are one of God's values, and peace of mind. Peace is also another value. And so I would seek, really think about and seek those over this American dream. Seek purpose over popularity. Seek people over pleasure, and seek peace of mind over possessions. And if you do those things, set that as a resolution this year to choose God's values over world's values, and align your values with God's values. It's a good way to start the year.
I can't think of a better way to start the year. Yeah. And to live every day that way is as a challenge, but man, what a beautiful challenge that is, right?
Absolutely, man.
All right, brother. And number 4. What's number 4?
Choose to live by faith rather than by fear.
So strong, man. Yeah. I'll tell you, there's so much fear. There's so much fear out there, and whether it's has to do with the coronavirus, or whether it has to do with money and being broke, or it has to do with your relationships or whatever it is. There's so much fear, and I'll tell you, it's like a prison, right? And the antidote to that fear is faith, is knowing that God works for the good of those, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I love the idea of, it's not the size of my faith, it's the size of the God that I put my faith in. And I absolutely love that picture.
Yeah, man. He says a little faith in a big God gets big results. A little faith in a big God gets big results. It's freaking awesome, man. So something to think about is where are you putting your faith? Are you putting your faith in God, or are you putting it in other people? Are you putting it in the people that are defining you? Are you putting it in the culture, in the laws, in the media? Where are you putting your faith? Are you relying on that instead of relying on God?
And I think it's important to acknowledge that everybody has faith.
Yeah.
They're putting faith in something, right? Something. Like whether you're putting it in your bank account, whether you're putting your 401k, whether you're putting your faith in that everything will be okay because you have a certain number of zeros, a net worth. You're putting your faith in something. And so I would challenge that, even if folks say they're not believers, well, you're putting your faith somewhere. And I think it is imperative that you figure out where that faith is being placed, and if where that faith is being placed is worthy of your faith, or if it's even a good place to put your faith. Can you really rely on that thing, whatever that thing is? My faith is in God, and I know no matter what all that other stuff is, at the end, I know that I'm stamped, right? And I draw great courage. I draw great resolution from that. And so for me, that is very clear. And I thank God for that. But it wanes sometimes too, right? Sometimes I think, oh man, I need, what should my bank account look like? Is that where I should? And anybody who's been in business knows that the bank account is the worst place to put faith, man. That can grow like that. It can disappear like that. It's that's not the place. But I think it's important to analyze where you put your faith and to choose to live by faith and not by fear, because it's handcuffs, right? Living by fear is just handcuffs, and it'll keep you all these things. If you the kind of the converse to them is that it'll put you in a position where you're just completely ineffective.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, so 4 resolutions: refuse to define by others, refuse to be defined by others, choose to endure short-term pain for long-term gain, choose God's values, not world values, and choose to live by faith rather than by fear. So the big question is how? Like how do we do these? And these are hard, right? These are challenging resolutions to maintain. It's because it's a mindset. It's like a daily thing. It's a habit that you have to put into your life if it's not already there. So how do we do that?
And and we're big on this, but I think getting support, and what does that support look like? Is it a small group? Is it a mastermind? Is it your church, your community, your friends? Like, I know for me, one of the biggest resources for me is you, right? We talk about, things that are important to us. We challenge each other to be better in different areas of our life.
I call you out daily. It's awesome.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And sometimes, sometimes someone like me, they'll put someone like me in your life to make you realize how judgy and and potentially hypocritical.
Oh yeah.
And unfortunately for you, how limited you are from a looks perspective. I mean, that's my job, right? That's my job in your life. But in all seriousness, I think surrounding yourself by people and I'll tell you, man, and we're doing this, and I'm so excited about 2022, but be extremely intentional with the people you surround yourself with. Do not waste your time with people that are dragging you down, that are negative, that are not speaking in your life, that don't believe in you. And if you're that person, then check yourself, right? If you're the negative Nancy, like, take a look at why are you that way? Is it because of who you surround yourself with? Is it because you haven't checked yourself? Is it because you think, whatever it is, that needs to be addressed? But man, I am so excited about being extremely intentional with who we surround ourselves with. And we choose people. I'll tell you, I choose people that are so much better than I am in so many ways, almost every way.
Agreed.
And but hey, man, at the end, like, it's going to make me such a better person. Yep. Right. In every way. And so I think the intentionality of that is really important.
Yeah. And I think, one thing that I need to be better about, and you're way better at this than I am, is just being intentional about having relationships with people, and you being the one that reaches out and makes that phone call to people. You be the one that schedules that date to go and grab a coffee and like catch up. You be the one that like reaches out and schedules that that Zoom call to talk about life and see what's going on. Form those habits to meet and have relationships with people and connect and get the support, and not be just the one that's always grabbing and pulling for people, but also be the one that's grabbing people and pulling people up as well.
Yeah, man. And there's a great verse. Hebrews 10:24 says, "Let us be concerned for one another and help one another show love and to do good. Let us not give up the habit of meeting together as some are doing. Instead, let us encourage each other." And what I love about that, and I tell you, I enjoy reaching out. So that's why it's not a challenge for me, because I love doing that. I love calling people. I love texting them. But one thing that's been amazing is when you reach out to someone, dude, if you just reach out just to say, "Hey, man, I know you're busy. I'm busy. I just wanted to tell you that I think you're really special, or I think you're great, or I love you," or whatever it is, and leave it at that. It's very powerful, dude. And I mean it from my heart. It makes me feel great because I'm expressing to somebody how I feel about them. But dude, it's like 100% has been a positive experience every time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I
Good
think
man.
that sometimes just do it. If someone pops in your head, I think is a great time to just reach out and call, or just send them a text. I mean, everybody loves texting. I don't love texting. I prefer to call, and a lot of times people don't answer, but that's the message I leave on their phone, right? And when they check their voicemail, I don't know what their response is, but I'm, usually there's a response. But man, if maybe they're just having a terrible day and that's why they popped in your head, you're like, hey man, just letting you know, like one person out here, I'm just thinking about you. I think you're awesome. I love you, and you know, you don't need to call me back, right? Just something as simple as that takes you 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's good, man. I need to do it more. I love it. Next thing that that we should absolutely do is ask and expect God to help. If you don't ask for help, you're never going to get it, and that really is just through prayer. Setting time on a regular basis to ask, for whatever's going on in your life, is to pray and seek God for help. That's it, man.
Amen, man. I couldn't put it any differently. It's awesome. I love it. Hey, I think it's important to set resolutions. I think it's important to build up our goals and to have things to focus on, write them down. But I think there's some deeper. I would love to see people make some deeper level resolutions that are truly life changing, that will impact them in such a profound way. And I think these 4 things are a great start to help you to really become the person that you want to be, to achieve your highest and best, and to be who you're created to be, most importantly.
Absolutely, man. Well, I'm pumped for 2022. I hope this spoke to some of you. Hey, if reach out. We'd love to get on the phone and connect, and we want to grow the relationships in our life just as much as you do. We need it. And if you like this podcast, share it. Tell somebody about it. You can take a screenshot and post it on your social media channels, because that's the best way to connect. That's how David likes to connect the most. If you tag him,
that's where your true friends are.
That's where your true friends are.
Online on the Book of Faces. Hey, and if you do tag me and I don't respond, which is almost a guarantee, it's not because I don't love you. It's just simply that most likely I did not see the tag, and I did not see I probably hadn't been in Facebook for, I don't know, a couple of months at that point. So, but I do appreciate the tag, and I love you.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right. Well, I'm going to go snowblow. Snowblowed.
Yep.
Go do some more snow blowing. And
dude, get a shovel out, dude.
I like shoveling too. I do some shoveling.
Yeah, shoveling is good too. No, you go get your snow blowed on, and have an amazing day, my friend. Can't wait to see you in person. Hopefully this frigid COVIDs will be out of our systems and a thing of the past here soon.
Let's hope so, my friend. Hope you're feeling better soon. And guys and gals, hey, like I said, go share this. Go give us 5-star reviews. Join our Facebook page if you haven't. That's where we give all the amazing advice, all the best of books. It's pretty much just me because David doesn't post anything, but it's still awesome. And yeah, we love you. Happy New Year. Let's go crush 2022 and go fill your storehouse.
Make it a great day in real life and in your socials, your Insta life and your Facebook life and your real life. Make it a great day.
See ya.
See ya.